Ah, there you are. Welcome back to another session with Mr. Balls, the sports guru. I'm here to give you sports perspective in your daily life. So, let's begin. So, there's a lot that we need to talk about. Many things have happened since the last time I've spoken to you, and many things need to be addressed. Now, I haven't spoken to you since the Super Bowl, since the day before the Super Bowl. And if you didn't listen to Mr. Balls the day before, you'll notice that I said the score was going to be Chiefs in the 30s. I said maybe 34, 35 points. 49ers, 27, maybe 21 points. I was a little off, but if I was exactly correct, well, then I wouldn't be doing the show. I would just be raking in the dough in Las Vegas. That's a different point. But 34-21, 34-27, 34-21, either way, Mr. Balls was right. Chiefs covered, and they won the Super Bowl, and they are now the champions because Pat Mahomes is special, just like I said before. 49ers had an amazing season. I do want to recommend, I saw something amazing the other day, and I'm going to attach the link to this video. But if you haven't had a chance to see the Mic'd Up by NFL Network, it was the Super Bowl 54 Mic'd Up, and it says, "I'm a beast down here, hit me," which is a quote from Pat Mahomes. I'll put the link down below, and you'll be able to click on that. I think it was fantastic. It's about 40 minutes long, and it shows you the sounds of the game while they were playing it, and it is just fantastic to watch. It's actually hard not to shed a tear at the end when you see some amazing moments between Travis Kelce and his father, Patrick Mahomes and his father, and that's something I want everyone to remember. When you're watching sports, sure, we all like our teams. We all like to watch the brutality, the violence and the speed of sports and the clashings and everything. But let's not forget, these people are human beings, just like me and you. They have parents, they have children, they have families. And yes, there's a lot of money when you get to the professional level. There's a lot of money. And money is a big factor in the game. But sometimes, even at that level, there's a difference. The little silver linings that separate the greatest to play the game, the champions, and the professional players that are cashing in on their abilities. There are differences. There's a reason why certain players win multiple championships, why some players never grace that field. They never grace that level of greatness, of rings. Charles Barkley, Dan Marino, Karl Malone, people who were just great at what they did, made a lot of money in the process, but they never were able to get over the hump that separates Kobe Bryant's, the Michael Jordans, the Derek Fishers, right? The Scottie Pippins. And that may only be two teams, but I think you get what I'm saying. Even the Dirk Nowitzkis. Dirk Nowitzki was able to propel his team into greatness and bring Dallas Mavericks an NBA championship. But as we were saying, Mr. Balls, of course, was correct about the Super Bowl, put a lot of thought into it. I'm not going to always be right, but I will be right a lot of the time. So let's continue. Some other stuff that was amazing. I don't know if you had a chance to watch, but after the Super Bowl, the week after, which was just this last weekend, the XFL got started with its kickoff season. I don't know about you, but I liked what I saw. It is very different than what we see in the NFL in terms of the presentation of the game. And I think this is very smart by the people who put the XFL together. Because, let's be real, we're not there for the names, don't get me wrong. I mean, Landry Jones doesn't really move the needle. We were exposed to an interesting quarterback, PJ Walker, this last week. But, but we have Cardell Jones, some of these names, we do know some of them, don't get me wrong. But I'll keep coming back because it was quite interesting to me to see the coaches making the calls, the interactions between the players, seeing these things, even the referees talking to each other like, hey, did you see that? You know, what's going on? Everything is mic'd up. We have more access to this than ever before. So there's a lot here that I do hope that the NFL steals, including the kickoff. I really like the kickoff. I think it's interesting because who doesn't miss the kickoff element? Who doesn't like that wild element of what, you know, special teams and the return all the way to the house? And that's being taken away with the boots in the NFL because now they just kick it in the end zone and most of them are touchbacks. But they made it safer. They brought back the action. I really like what's going on with the kicking game here. So very interesting. So moving on, I'm going to be very interested. I'm going to keep a nice keen eye on what's going on with the XFL. And let's see what's going on there. But yeah, so kudos to the XFL. Great debut weekend. Let's keep that going. Let's see if the viewership stays up the way it was for the inaugural week. And we'll see if this thing has legs to continue into the future. But Mr. Balls is officially a fan. I'm always down to see more sports. And, oh, it's this way. That's right here. This guy right here, right? Football. We can always get more football, especially when there's no NFL. So rock on. There's no college. There's nothing to compete. XFL is going to fill in that gap to give us some football when we need it on the weekend. There's only 8 teams. Again, this was very intelligent, very well thought out. A lot of good things going on with the XFL. Got to be careful with that. The XFL. But very excited. So keep going. It was interesting to see. You know, we haven't seen some of the quarterbacks that were supposed to play. Josh Johnson's going to play for the LA Wildcats this next Sunday. And then we also should see the debut of Landry Jones, which is supposed to be kind of the poster boy of the XFL. So we'll see what happens there. A lot of young talent, a lot of playmakers, the wide receivers making catches, big hits. I will say this, little warning to PJ Walker out there. If you keep taking hits like you took this last week, you're going to last 3 or 4 weeks and then it's going to be over. You're an exciting quarterback. You play with passion. Mr. Balls doesn't want to see you get hurt, but I can tell you right now, this is a little dose of sports perspective. If you keep taking hits like that, you will not be playing much longer. All right? Mr. Balls legitimately fears for your health. You threw 4 touchdown passes. You had an amazing game. Your heart was on the field. Your guts were spilled out there for everybody. You were almost killed on one play, which was a roughing the passer that didn't even matter because there was a different penalty that they used, which was pass interference. If you watched, you know what I'm talking about. But there was definitely one play where I was like, is his neck okay? And luckily he was, but I'm sure he was definitely sore and feeling some pain the next day. He's not the biggest guy, but man, he's exciting to watch. He's kind of like the poor man's Lamar Jackson after week 1. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. It was 1 week. Now we're going to see how coaches adapt. People are going to have game footage. They're going to be ready for week 2. Different teams are at home. Different teams are on the road. Now it's only 8 teams that we're following here, which is good in the beginning because we can follow this. We can see where this is going from week to week, and it's going to be interesting to watch. So stay tuned. I highly recommend, if you don't have anything better to do on Sunday, definitely tune in and find out when there's some XFL. Totally worth your time. All right, moving on. Some of the things I wanted to talk about that I noticed that I didn't like, and this is actually a critique to people in my profession in sports broadcasting out there. And I don't like this off-season coverage. So the NFL's over and basketball is heading to the All-Star weekend, which is coming up. We'll be getting the All-Star game. The All-Star teams have been selected. Giannis and LeBron chose their teams. And we have that, which, by the way, Team LeBron is just on paper, hands down, way better than Team Giannis. People criticize LeBron because he picked Kawhi Leonard. Come on, man. I mean, they would have been in the West anyway. It would have been the West versus the East, and they would have been teammates. But if you're on paper and Giannis picks Joel Embiid, and Kawhi Leonard, after last year, was considered the best player in the NBA to begin with, it was obvious LeBron was going to take Anthony Davis. It's his teammate. He's a top 5 player in the world. Obviously, he's going to pick him first. I mean, they're buddies. They're trying to win a championship together, right? But how could Kawhi not be LeBron's second pick? I mean, he was there, right? But we're going to see. It's going to be a fun game. There's a lot of talent in the NBA. Don't get me wrong, all the way from top to bottom. All those players are extremely talented, and it's going to be fun to watch. But LeBron's team, man, I mean, you got Luka, you've got James Harden, you've got LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Kawhi Leonard. Just those three alone, which almost happened in reality for the Lakers. We're gonna see a little glimpse of that. And as good as Giannis's team is, and as talented as that team is, I just don't see that if they take that game semi-seriously on LeBron's side. I just don't see how. Anyway, honestly, it's a meaningless game. I don't want to get too caught up in it. It's more of just a celebration of the talent in the NBA and the superstars that we have today. So let's just keep it at what it is. Not a serious game. Don't get too carried away out there. But, you know, on paper anyway, Team LeBron should win that game. But this goes back to what I was about to say. I'm not that enthusiastic about sports coverage on Fox Sports and ESPN for several reasons, because we don't give credit to a lot of other sports in the world. Soccer, for example, doesn't get a lot of credit. Tennis didn't get a lot of credit. The Australian Open just happened, right? And I want to touch on that for a second. Something happened in the Australian Open that you probably don't even know, and you're about to hear for the first time, but did you know that in the women's side of the bracket, yeah, Serena didn't win. All right, Serena, she didn't. She may be the greatest women's tennis player of all time, but you know what? She's getting old, and she's getting banged up more and more, which is natural. It's what happens. Nobody beats father time, or we're going to call it mother time for the women's bracket, right? To be fair. But it's undefeated. You feel me? So Serena's greatness is in its closing chapters. She is the greatest, undeniably the greatest women's tennis player we've ever seen. But there's more coming. And everybody pays attention to a 15-year-old named Coco Gauff. And why not? She's 15 years old, and she's winning tennis matches on the biggest stage. Kudos. Coco, I'm a fan. I'm very happy for you. But nobody gives any credit to Sofia Kenin, the youngest American, 21 years old, to win a Grand Slam since Serena? I don't understand. No love, no attention. You probably just heard her name for the first time. Sofia Kenin, 21 years old, won the Australian Open. She beat the number one ranked in the tournament from Australia. I believe it's Hardy. And then she also beat all kinds of great talent on the way up, overcame some exciting matches, and was able to finish the job. Get the job done. Get the hardware. And by the way, she won $2.85 million prize money. All right? So we're not talking about chump change. This isn't just a tennis match that just happened to happen. It happened it was one of the Grand Slam tournaments. Kudos to you, Sofia Kenin. You get some time, because that's what Sports Perspective is all about. We respect athleticism, global athleticism. It is ludicrous to me that ESPN and FOX Sports, they think that here in the United States, we don't care about world events and sporting events around the world. All we care about is the NFL and the NBA. That's it. That's the only thing we care about. I mean, why even watch other sports? I mean, sure, they show it. The Australian Open was on ESPN, but do they talk about it? Do you hear the big faces? I don't see Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, Marcellus Wiley, Whitlock. I don't see these guys talking about the Australian Open. If they did, it was for that long. It was just super duper quick. And then let's move on. Let's get back to which direction Tom Brady farted this morning, right? That's all they care about. Tom Brady. Oh my God. What's he going to do? Is he going to retire? First of all, let me clear something up about Tom Brady, okay? He's not going anywhere. All this hype about anything, he's going to be a Patriot at the end of the day, or he's going to retire. Why would Tom Brady, after 20 years of doing what he does, he's going to go somewhere else in some other system? Oh, I mean, I heard nonsense today about Dallas Cowboys are serious about trying to get Tom Brady. Why? They have a young guy, Dak Prescott. It wasn't his fault that the Dallas Cowboys couldn't stop anyone this last year. Because I don't know if you know this, but nobody had more yards than the Dallas Cowboys offense in the last NFL season. And that includes the Baltimore Ravens. That includes the Kansas City Chiefs. Dallas Cowboys had the most yards per game, more than any other team in the NFL. So you know what? The problem was not the offense. It was the defense. So find a way to pay Dak. $40 million is too much. Why don't you settle on 35? I already turned down 33. Come on, Dak. Let's be real, man. This goes out to all the quarterbacks. Everybody wants to get paid. And this goes out to you, Mr. Patrick Mahomes, Mr. Special right now, Mr. Probably best in the league at the moment, all right? Lamar Jackson may have been the MVP of the regular season, but Patrick Mahomes was the MVP of the NFL the last 2 years. Let's just say combined, all right? Pat Mahomes could demand record-breaking numbers, record-breaking contract. Just keep in mind something. You want to keep Sammy Watkins on your team? You want to keep Travis Kelce in the future down on your team? Those guys got to get paid too. How much different is it per year if you make $35 million or if you make $40 million? Is it really going to make that big of a difference to you? I'll tell you what though, keeping Travis Kelce on your team or having Sammy Watkins as your number 2 receiver is going to make a big difference. And that goes to you, Dak Prescott. They paid Ezekiel Elliott over there. You want to have some kind of defense? You want them to go spend some money and get you some guys that are going to get you the ball back? You can't take more money, man. Tom Brady was smart about that. He gave the Patriots leverage to where they were able to go get other players. Peyton Manning, when he was with the Broncos, he said, hey, I'm going to get paid and everything, but make sure there's money there to go get other players. Because in the NFL, more importantly than any other sport, in the NBA, I say go get your money. If you're LeBron, get max money. If you're Anthony Davis, get max money. Just like Kobe always said, get as much money as you can. Make these fools pay you. You know why? Because you're worth more than what they're paying you. And it's true. But in the NFL, it is the culmination, the sum of all parts that comes together. And the NFL, more than any other sport that I can think of, you have 22 guys that are starters. It is the most injury-prone sport in the world. You got guys coming in and out. You need your backups to be good. Because if they're not good, then you're not going to make it all the way. Guys get hurt, and you need the second string. So you got at least 40 players that are coming in and out. A lot of intangibles in that. And you want as many good players on your team as possible. They really should raise the cap. Because you're punishing superstars because you're saying, all right, let them get paid more, but pay the other guys more too. There's billions of dollars in the NFL. Trust me. It's going to be interesting to see the contract negotiations when those come up. But what bugs me is that, right now is the time when we could have focused a little bit more on the Australian Open. Could have given some love, like I just did, to Sophia Kenin. Congratulations to you. You won your first Grand Slam tournament, a major accomplishment. United States women's tennis back on top. Bringing the title home, and that's fantastic. It's the beginning of the season for tennis, so now there's 3 more Grand Slams. We're going to see Serena come back strong, Coco Gauff. We've got Serena coming back, of course. There's some other good girls too you might want to check out. Some really strong women in women's tennis. It's gonna be interesting to see how that pans out. So tune in, because these women get down, especially semifinals and finals. I get it if you're not a big tennis fan, you don't want to watch, but even the neutral fan can appreciate some semifinal and final tennis. And that brings me back to one more thing. Let's jump over to the men's side, because we covered the women. We're watching, and I can't think of another sport where you get to see literally the 3 greatest ever to do it on the same court or in the same arena, competing at the same time than you're seeing right now in men's tennis, right? Imagine if we were able to see Tom Brady against Joe Montana, against Johnny Unitas, right? And you have Vince Lombardi and those guys coaching still. It doesn't make sense. I get it. But what I'm trying to say is this. We couldn't see Michael Jordan versus Kobe Bryant in their primes or at the same time competitive eras with Magic Johnson, with Shaq, right? No, you can't get that. You can't get that. It can't happen. All we can do is debate and theorize. Oh, how would LeBron match up against Michael in this day? Those are the arguments you hear today, but you can't see it. But in men's tennis, okay? I mean, I'm someone who's watched tennis his entire life. I saw Pete Sampras. I saw Andre Agassi. We have 3 men right now who have more titles than anyone else. They have dominated. I wrote this down somewhere. They have won 55 out of the last 66 Grand Slams dating back to 2003. There's only 4 a year. And they've won 55 out of 66 combined. You have Roger Federer, currently ranked number 3 in the world. He's won more titles than anyone, right? He's got 20 Grand Slam titles, okay? He's 38 years old. He's at the end of his career, all right? I'm going to say he's the third greatest player of all time in tennis. He may currently have the most Grand Slams, but that's going to get broken, right? But he's still winning. He's still competing, and he's going against the two guys that are going to take his spot probably, which are Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic. And all I got to say is this. I mean, Nadal has 19 Grand Slams. He's only one behind Roger Federer. He's 33 years old, and his greatest rival, Novak Djokovic, is 32 years old, and he's got 17 Grand Slams, and he just won the Australian Open, which is, he's the king of Australia. He's got 8 of those, so, it's no joke. If you watch these guys play, it is a level of tennis that we have never seen before, especially when both show up and it turns into like a 5-setter legendary match. But Novak Djokovic had an amazing comeback. He was down 2-1 in the final, and he came back and overcame that. So, again, you don't need to be a hardcore tennis fanatic to appreciate some amazing athleticism and amazing competition like Novak Djokovic did. I mean, we're talking big money here. I don't understand what's not the appeal and why ESPN doesn't want to push this more. Roger Federer has made $124 million in his career. He made $93 million last year. I mean, most athletes in the world don't make that kind of money. In fact, he's probably top 10, probably top 3 or 4 athletes to make that kind of money in 1 year. And that's when Floyd Mayweather is in boxing. Maybe Conor McGregor with the ridiculous numbers he's making right now, right? But Roger Federer, first of all, he has a $300 million endorsement deal in Japan. I mean, we're talking about a major athlete, which barely gets exposure. Why? It's not American, and it's in tennis. Come on, man. The whole world watches this. I don't know why. I don't understand why American sports coverage doesn't want to cover this. It makes no sense. Unless it's the U.S. Open or something, but whatever. Novak Djokovic has $132 million so far made in his career in earnings, in winnings, right? Made $50 million last year in 2019 if you combine endorsements and career earnings. Remarkable achievements. Rafael Nadal, $110 million in it. We're talking about $300 million tennis players playing at the same time, still taking titles from each other. 55 out of 66. I've talked enough tennis. I think you get the point. Pay attention to these guys, man. When these guys play, it kills me when I hear no one talking about it. I'm like, you see that Novak match? Oh, you didn't see it? Oh, you don't know what I'm talking about. Good Lord. So anyways, ESPN, FOX Sports needs to step up. I mean, seriously, do we need to keep talking about Tom Brady? Like, he woke up today, he blinked 5 times with the left eye and 6 with the right in a span of 1 minute. Let's analyze that. What does this mean? Is he going to go to Las Vegas and be on the Raiders? Is he going to stay on the Patriots? It just doesn't. Come on, man. Let's talk about some other stuff. I mean, it just gets over and over and over. It's the same thing regurgitated, spit down your throat. It's ridiculous. That's why we're here. That's why I exist. Because we need to talk about these other things. Leave your comments if you disagree with me, if you agree with me. Tell me right here in the comments, and you say, you know what, you're right, more tennis, or I really don't care about tennis, Mr. Balls, stop talking about it. I want to hear what my audience says, so please tell me what you think. So moving on from tennis, we're going to do some specials about soccer coming up soon, and I'm going to do some in Spanish for you, because yeah, Mr. Balls speaks Spanish. So we will be doing some definite episodes about soccer. I don't understand. We never get and let's look in to see what's the latest with the U.S. national team. Are they making improvements? Are they getting ready? Are we doing something to make sure that we qualify for the next World Cup? The biggest embarrassment in our soccer history just happened. What are we doing to rectify this? We have Christian Pulisic. If you go online, there's a Christian Pulisic watch where ESPN covers each match and they tell you how he's doing in Chelsea. Look, Americans, there's a huge soccer scene in this country. We get our kids to play it at a young age, and then it's a safer sport for our kids. And somewhere along the line, we're just like, yeah, we're not going to tune in. MLS is getting better and better. The season's coming up. I can't wait to see what LAFC is going to do, the new hot team in the MLS. We've got David Beckham's team in Miami is about to make its debut. We got some real big things coming around. And it's just quiet. Crickets. ESPN wants to talk about Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. Let's go back and forth about how they agreed to part ways, which is big news. I'm not saying that's not big news, but if we can talk about that, we should be able to bring up some stuff. Now they're going to talk about what prospects in the NFL draft. Okay, well, let the course play out a little bit. Let's get a little closer to the NFL draft before we start analyzing everybody's 40 times and how high they can jump. All I'm saying is, give a little love to the U.S. national team. Give a little love to Christian Pulisic. He is out there representing the United States to Europe. And I tell you this, in Europe, they think we suck. They think Americans suck at football. You still call it soccer. And they say Americans are terrible at football. We are not. And we have got, and there are parts of this country, especially in the Midwest, the Pacific Northwest, there are some parts of the country where soccer is amazing to watch. Very competitive at the high school level, at the state level, at the club level. And more and more, we're going to start seeing this. I can't wait. The MLS season is around the corner. It's getting better and better. Because of that, the whole region has gotten better. So all the Latin American countries and the islands, and it's called the CONCACAF region for those of you who don't know. But the CONCACAF region has gotten better. That's why we didn't make it. That's why we lost to Trinidad and Tobago. They got more players that are in the MLS now that are getting professional time. They're getting more, so it's going to be tougher and tougher to win these games. So USA, get behind Team USA. Not just in the Olympics, but in anything. Whether it's our women playing in the Australian Open, whether it's Christian Pulisic out there in England, he's battling every day to get on the field, to be a young starter. I mean, the kid is so young. We've got to support him. He's already doing better than any American has ever done in the history of soccer for our country. And he's out there representing, all right? Back him up, all right? He's a national icon and hero. And he's making money over there, all right? This kid he was sold for 70 million euros or so, very close to it. It's a lot of money, man. We're not talking about some chump. We're talking about the youngest, greatest resume for an American soccer player already. And if we can get him on like a Real Madrid or Barcelona, or if Chelsea gets a little bit better because they're pretty good, if Chelsea can pull off a Champions League victory, we're talking big things here the better he does, the better USA does. Keep that in mind. So just some things that bug me, right? Other things coming up. If it's not NFL or NBA, heaven forbid, they don't talk about it on ESPN and FOX Sports. There's a massive heavyweight boxing match coming up. If you don't know about Wilder Fury, come on. We're talking about two undefeated heavyweights that have fought each other. So think about that. What did I just say? Two undefeated heavyweights, and that they fought each other, which means they had a draw the first fight. It was an exciting fight to watch. All right? Deontay Wilder is not the best boxer. I'm going to tell you right now. But he is the best knockout artist we've seen in the heavyweight division probably ever. You literally need to be perfect against this man, because if you drop your guard for 1 second, 2-3 seconds in a fight, and he catches you with that right hand, his right hand straight, maybe the best we've ever seen, ever, it can put you out like this. So watch out. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. I want to say the 22nd. Let me check my calendar here. Yeah, 22nd, February 22nd coming up. I'm sure the week before we're going to see them on Fox Sports. You're going to see them on ESPN. This is a mega fight, people. All right? Ali and Frazier were advertised for a long time. What's happened? We have an American heavyweight champion here, right? You have Anthony Joshua, and then you have Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, the three biggest names in the heavyweight division. Don't even get me started on Ruiz. I loved Ruiz. He let me down. He embarrassed himself, and he embarrassed all the people that got behind him, because I live in Southern California. I met the champ, and I told him, champ, you got to go win that second fight. But now I'm getting on boxing. I love boxing. We can definitely talk boxing. Mr. Balls, I'll tell you what. There is a ball in boxing. So if you think I can't talk about boxing, it's not really a ball, but it's a bag, speed bag. So you know what? And sometimes they pass the ball. There's a big weight ball they work out with. Doesn't matter. You get my point, all right? Boxing is important too. I love boxing. We're going to be talking a lot of boxing as well. So all the boxing fans out there, tune in, support Mr. Balls. Give me a subscribe. Give me a like, because here's a place where we can talk. I'm going to read your comments. We're going to debate it. And then when we start the Twitch show live, you're going to be able to come on the Mr. Balls show, talk to me directly, ask me any questions you like. What do I like? I've met some great guys in the boxing world, a lot of them. And I'm very passionate about boxing. So I'm looking forward to, again, everyone should be excited if you like seeing heavyweights, because boxing is at its best when the heavyweight division is at its best, right? Welterweights are exciting, like, you know, when they go at it, the Pacquiaos that we saw, and Mayweathers and all that, but nothing beats the big boys getting in the ring, knocking each other out, you know, guys that are going for greatness of all time. And we've got 2 undefeated heavyweight champions going into the ring. And let's see who comes out victorious. Because right now, if you're a betting man, it's a pick'em. It's a pick'em, folks. So boxing does not get better when you have 2 undefeated heavyweights fighting for a championship. And even Vegas is saying, we don't know who's going to win. You pick them, you know? So there's probably going to be a little bit more money on Wilder because, hey, he's the American. Do not underestimate Tyson Fury, a motivated Tyson Fury, who, by the way, if you don't know about Tyson Fury, go look him up. It's a little rated R. You're going to hear some bad language, but you know what? His story is amazing. Underdog story. This guy was on the verge of committing suicide, and now he's competing for the heavyweight championship of the world for a second time in a row. An amazing story, right? And that's what, hey, Mr. Balls, that's what I love. Amazing sports stories. So tune in to that. Coming up February 22nd, it's going to be on Fox Sports pay-per-view. That's Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. Definitely worth your time. So other than that, I just wanted to catch up with the public a little bit on what's been going on here, what I've been seeing. XFL kicked off. Catch that on Saturday, Sunday. There's only 4 games a weekend, so it's not a lot of your time. 4 games a weekend. Catch 1 or 2 of them. Catch them all if you can. I'm here in Los Angeles, obviously. That's why I've got, you know, the LA gear. You know, I'm going to be a little bit biased, so to look, all the people in the East Coast, don't get too mad at me, all right? I'm over here surrounded with talk about the Dodgers, about the Lakers, so, you know, I do want to do a show where maybe we criticize, or I'll even touch on that a little bit right now. What are some of the best shows to watch out there, right? Because there's a lot of stuff. I'll tell you right now, there's no one better in the morning than Colin Cowherd. Him and Joy Taylor, first of all, she's fantastic. He has a wonderful co-host, and she is a great contributor. She is not just a pretty face. She knows her sports. Her brother is Jason Taylor, legendary Hall of Famer, you know, Jason Taylor. Joy Taylor brings it, and I love her chemistry with Colin Cowherd. So if you want to catch some good sports in the morning, tune in. It's usually on Fox Sports Radio FS1. Definitely a big fan of Colin Cowherd. He brings some great points. And look, none of us are always right. You know, when you're listening to this type of stuff, myself, Colin, Stephen A, and yes, I belong in that conversation, but you know, it'll take a little time for me to justify that claim, but it's true. And, you know, we're not always right. All right. We're throwing ourselves out there. I'm Mr. Balls, and I'm going to give you my opinion on sports, and I'm going to give you sports perspective. We are wrong. Upsets do happen, right? But on this show, we're going to concentrate on trying to figure out when they do happen, because they do. And that's why I can always see, you know, everybody's leaning one way. Be careful. Upsets happen, especially in the NFL. That's what makes the NFL so great any given Sunday, especially division rivals. So if you're a betting person, I'll tell you right now, be careful in any division rival game. Does not matter how good your team is and how bad the rival is. They show up and they can beat them. Go ask the Patriots about the Dolphins. Because the Dolphins will have their number at least once, usually every year, and it's crazy. And don't think it's not in meaningful games, because it's cost the Patriots home field advantage throughout the playoffs on multiple occasions. And those were the years that they got eliminated and didn't win Super Bowls in recent history. So, you know, that's for sure. Other than that, you know what, Mr. Balls, just wanted to check in with the public. Again, the beauty about my show, I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't know how long I'm going to talk. We're here. I'm going to talk as long as necessary, whatever needs to get off my chest, whatever I've seen going on throughout the sports day, the things that people are talking about. I'll throw in a few more quick things about the NBA that I heard. Los Angeles Clippers made a big move. They went and got Marcus Morris from the Celtics, right? He's a good three-point shooter. You know, Doc Rivers, the coach of the Clippers, was the former coach of the Celtics, so he's going to be able to help that guy with that transition. Now, look, the Lakers are still the favorites to win the NBA championship, but I'm not going to lie. Do not underestimate, not just the Clippers, because they have a fantastic owner. You got to give Steve Ballmer credit. He is a phenomenal owner, all right? Any franchise would be lucky to have him as your owner. Yes, he's worth $43.2 billion, but that's not what makes him a good owner. You know, there's a billionaire that owns the Detroit Pistons. I actually know some of his family, and they're good people, right? But having money doesn't guarantee success, is all I'm saying. Steve Ballmer is extremely passionate about basketball. He's extremely passionate about making the Clippers a winning organization. And he showed that when he went and got Jerry West. Do not underestimate how brilliant of a mind Jerry West is. I don't know if you know this, but when they asked Shaquille O'Neal, how do you fix the Lakers? This is when Magic left and all that happened. They asked him, how do you fix the Lakers? And he said, if I'm Genie Boss, I go and I get Jerry West, greatest mind in basketball. And he's absolutely right. And I don't do a good Shaq impression. That's fine. But you get what I'm saying. He said, go get Jerry West because that guy's the most brilliant mind in basketball. What does Jerry West go and do? He gets Kawhi Leonard. He gets Paul George. Then he goes and he does another trade. They got some serious dogs. And I'm stealing that line from First Take. But they got some dogs on that team. Patrick Beverley. I remember, what was his name? LeVar Ball, right? He came out and he was like, Patrick Beverley who? Because Patrick Beverley shut down Lonzo when he was in the Lakers uniform. And he was like, oh, you're just talking about Pat Beverley because he shut down Lonzo. No, Pat Beverley, first of all, is a bigger player than Lonzo Ball has ever been. All right. Lonzo Ball is on the verge of, he pretty much is a bust at this point. When you're the number 2 pick in the draft, you got to be better than what he's done so far. And, still, he's still young. Who knows? Maybe he'll develop. But Pat Beverley is real. All right, he hits threes. He's a major defender on a team. He's a heavy contributor to what the Clippers are doing, and you got to like that. Then you got Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. I mean, you're talking about some of the best players in the world there. And the rival right now, what everyone talks about, especially here in Los Angeles, all you hear is Clippers, Lakers, Lakers, Clippers, back and forth. You hear it a lot here locally. So if you're not getting that over on the East Coast in Boston and New York and Florida, I get it. But, man, definitely here in LA, it's Lakers, Clippers really on a daily basis between Fox Sports and ESPN Sports Radio. And, because Fox Sports represents the Clippers and ESPN 710 is the Lakers station. So, I'll tell you, it's going to be interesting to watch. I think this is going to be the first time ever that, both teams are definitely going to be in the playoffs. And when they match up against each other, I mean, if that is a must-watch television, I mean, we're ready for it now. Let's just put them at the top. Don't get me wrong. There are some teams in the West that's very competitive. Don't sleep on Denver. Don't sleep on Utah. Don't sleep on the small ball Rockets and what they're doing over there. They can play too. James Harden and Russell Westbrook, those guys can show up. Can they beat the Clippers or the Lakers in a 7-game series? I highly doubt it. I don't see that. Definitely Los Angeles is going to be in the finals in the NBA finals. Is it going to be the Clippers or is it going to be the Lakers is the big question. Now, if I have to choose, it's tough right now. I'm not going to lie. Using sports perspective to figure out at this early in the stage of what's going to happen is it's going to come down to this for the Lakers and the Clippers. And the Clippers are ready. If it was today, if it was the NBA playoffs starting today, I would say the Clippers are going to be in the NBA finals. But it's not today. So there's growth that can happen, that needs to happen on the Lakers team. And they can't just depend on LeBron. First of all, Anthony Davis is not being used in the fourth quarter at all. That has to change. So Vogel, maybe you're saving him for the second half or after the All-Star break. I'm going to be keeping a watch on that. But Anthony Davis has to start closing some of these games. Anthony Davis is the future of the Lakers, not LeBron. LeBron is the present, but Anthony Davis is the very near future. LeBron is not going to be able to keep up this level of production at his age with this amount of mileage on his legs that he has, more than maybe any other player we've ever seen. All right. I think LeBron's going to last, but to produce at the elite level that he's producing, first of all, it's a remarkable thing to watch. But second, how long can he keep doing this? I really don't know. So Lakers need Anthony Davis to start stepping up. He needs to start being the man. And LeBron needs to do his part to tell him, look, fourth quarter, you're taking over this game. And they got to start beating some teams with winning records, because that's something else to be worried about. Those are the statistics that matter. How do they do and how do they show up? It's easy to beat up on the crappy teams, It's easy to beat up on the Atlanta Hawks and the Orlando Magic or, the Phoenix Suns, which even Phoenix Suns sometimes, they put together a good game the other day. It's easy to beat those teams, but are you going to beat the Clippers? Because you guys are 0-2 against them, right? It really doesn't matter as much in the regular season, but now we're getting closer. So the later games are more important. When they play again, we'll see who wins that game. But you got to start beating the Rockets. You got to start beating the Utah Jazz. You got to start beating the Denver Nuggets. You got to beat the Dallas Mavericks. You got to beat the Portland watch out for Portland and Memphis. Those are two teams at the bottom, whichever, they both might get in. But those teams at the bottom of the West are dangerous. You know, I don't think Memphis will be as dangerous this year as they will be in the years to come. But Ja Morant, and I saw this coming in, that kid's going to win Rookie of the Year. Zion doesn't. If you give Zion Williamson the Rookie of the Year at this point, I don't care how good he plays the rest of the season. That's just a travesty and a crime. Ja Morant is the Rookie of the Year. The Memphis Grizzlies have a lot to look forward to in the near future. They're going to be extremely competitive. And Damian Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers have turned it into another gear. They got robbed on a terrible call. I don't know if they would have won that game. I mean, it did cost them the game, but I mean, there's no guarantees they would have won the game against the Jazz. But Damian Lillard, oh my God, I do not understand. I heard the other day, Colin Cowherd made a mistake on this. He said, there are only several number one players in the NBA. There's only a few of them that we can count them. And that's LeBron, that's Kawhi, and he said a couple other. He said maybe one more. They said Luka's not a number one yet. That's wrong. He is a number one. Damian Lillard, they forgot to mention, because Damian Lillard, first of all, in the first game after Kobe passed, he was the one who showed up with that Mamba mentality and showed up that night. And man, raining threes. He's been on a scoring tear lately. So Damian Lillard, I mean, if he keeps this up, we may have to put him in the conversation for the MVP of the league. All right, so do not sleep on the Portland Trailblazers and Damian Lillard, because they are doing amazing things over there. Those guys are really starting to turn it on. They have a losing record. They've been dealing with injuries. They got McCollum back. There's a lot going on there, and watch out, because the Blazers are going to sneak in the 8th spot. I think for sure. Maybe Memphis and the Trailblazers are going to be there. So covered a lot in this episode. If you want to comment, please do. File it down below. Look, I don't sit here and edit my videos and stuff. I bring it to you in one take. Don't get me wrong. This is all one take. I may have threw in some graphics. I may have threw in some photos, but the recording was one take, because we bring it from the heart here. This just exists naturally. This is what I do. This is what I know. I live, I breathe sports. Okay. It's what I do. I observe. I am an observer. All right. There's a lot of sports. I love everything. Hey, you tell me that the number 1 and 2 in ping pong are about to get down. I don't have imagine there's a little ping pong ball right here, right? Little ping pong ball right here. I'd be like, hey, number 1 and number 2 in the world, let's watch it. All right. I mean, not if like the NFL's on or something, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I just like competition. So if you like competition, if you like sports as much as me, if you like hearing a little bit about tennis, a little bit about golf, whenever the golf tournaments are coming up, I still got to learn where the balls are. Right. But obviously NBA, NFL, we're going to cover. Major League Baseball is around the corner. I mean, heck, I'm wearing a Dodgers shirt right now. I'm in LA. That's right. I mean, I've been a Dodger fan my whole life, so I'm going to rep them a little bit. But don't get me wrong. I'm not here just to praise my teams. I'm here to praise sports. You know what I mean? I'm not a Chiefs fan, but I respect what they did. And like I said, go watch that mic'd up. It's excellent. All right. And Pat Mahomes, whether you like him or not, that kid is not going anywhere. And if anyone has a chance to be the next Tom Brady, the next guy to get 6 rings and make a dynasty and do all that, it is Patrick Mahomes. So at the moment, I'd say he's the front runner. Now we're going to find out, is he going to, what level of greatness is he at? Because there's different levels of greatness to reach at. I mean, John Elway, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, he won 2 bowls out of 6. You know, I think he lost 4 Super Bowls, won 2. But getting to 6 Super Bowls is no easy achievement, folks. Let's not get that wrong. I mean, NFL is a team sport. And the fact that he played in 6 Super Bowls is remarkable. But Joe Montana won 4. Tom Brady has won 6 Super Bowls. I mean, that's just crazy. That's more than so many franchises. It's not even funny. All right. But the Chiefs right now with Pat Mahomes, they have everything to look forward to. But there's a lot of talent in the NFL. Teams are going to get better. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the offseason. But it's not so damn interesting that we can't sit here and talk a little bit about soccer, about tennis, about the other things going on in the world. I mean, it's not just these sports. And barely talk about the most popular sport in the world. Football. All right? That needs to be talked about more. There are leagues all over the world. And they are exciting to watch. Even if it's just one game to watch. I mean, dude, the Mexican League, it's so competitive. The environments there are amazing. I'm telling you right now, LAFC is the best environment in the United States when it comes to the MLS games. I am now a fan of LAFC. And I have been, being a native of Los Angeles, I've been a Galaxy fan for a long time. And I'm about to piss off a lot of Galaxy fans right now. I was there for Beckham. I was a huge Zlatan fan. I love Zlatan Ibrahimovic. It's fantastic. He's been one of my favorite players of all time. I've been following him around the world, and he came here and played in our backyard. Huge Zlatan fan. But, man, LAFC, those colors, that stadium, right? And it may be small, but man, it sure is beautiful. That environment, that's something that I can get behind. So I am in the first time in Mr. Ball's career. I've been loyal to my teams since I was a little kid. Never changed my team for anything, right? If my teams lose every single game that year, I support them. But you know what? The Galaxy play all the way in Carson, which is kind of far. And they have a great history, and they've been great to watch. I love Landon Donovan, Kobe Jones. I mean, I'm telling you, I was a Galaxy fan. I was. If the Galaxy play against any other team in the MLS, they will have my support. But I have converted. I am a traitor to the Galaxy, and I am going to jump on the LAFC bandwagon. It is official, so I'm going to throw that out there. And hey, Galaxy fans, if you want to hate me for it, I understand. But please, LAFC fans, have my back. Welcome me to your community because I want to be a part of it. And I'm going to the games. I was invited by ownership. I met them recently, and they invited me. So I will definitely be going to some of those games. Look, Mr. Balls is just getting started, folks. And I'm counting on you. Give me your subscriptions, give me your likes, because then I'm going to get my media credential. We are going to be at the games. I'm going to bring you my own footage, all right? We're going to do Sports Perspective live in the future, all right, where we're going to tune in to what's going on. As soon as I get those media credentials, hey, Rams games, all the LA area I will be going to, and then as we get bigger and bigger, folks, then we will be traveling to events around. Because look, I am a sports fan. I want to hit Wimbledon. I want to hit the US Open, the Australian Open, the French Open. I want to hit all these tennis tournaments. We want to hit the World Cup. The World Cup is coming to the United States soon. There are big events coming, the Olympics. So look, if you love sports as much as I do, be a part of this community, all right? All right, you guys are the ballers. That's what you are, Mr. Balls. I'm counting on my ballers to build this community up, and let's rise together, and let's change the narrative in sports where it's not just obsessions with analytics and statistics, okay? Look deeper beneath the surface. These are human beings. There's a reason why Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson, and that's what this show is all about, is identifying that. All right. And that's what we're going to keep talking about. That's what Sports Perspective is. So I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate all of you that tune in. I really do. And let's grow this community because it will get bigger and bigger. And then we will be starting live Twitch streams in the near future. The website is about to launch. Social media is about to launch. The whole campaign's about to get going. We got the intro. It can be better, but it's something for now. Thank you for tuning in to Mr. Balls, the sports guru. I thank you all, my ballers. Adios.